And to learn more about the president's executive order, we're joined this morning via Skype by immigration lawyer Sharon Dulberg. Thanks for joining us.
The demolition.
Pleasure.
Can you tell us, please, what you or your office have been doing in relation to the ban over the weekend?
That's a very good question. We've been paying attention to what's going on. Of course, we're very concerned about our clients being able to get into the United States and the confusion that this executive order has created. I think that's the biggest concern for us, is that it is very confusing and it's creating a lot of chaos. Airlines don't know what to do, and with the cases that have been filed now, we will have to see what's going to happen.
Sharon, my question was, if someone gets off a plane, and just pick any airport in the country, we'll just say San Francisco International, and they're turned away and they're sent back on a plane to the country they originated that trip from, do they have a right, I guess the question is, for a hearing somewhere in the States on U.S. soil before getting back on that plane and being sent back?
Yes, that is exactly what's happening right now, is that there's been about 30 lawsuits that have been filed for people who have arrived at the airports. They've had valid visas to enter the United States, lawful permanent residents, non-immigrants, and refugees, and they have been detained and told that they need to return based on this executive order. And lawsuits have been filed in, again, 30 lawsuits have been filed. Several preliminary injunctions have issued saying that this executive order is not valid, that they cannot detain and return people, especially lawful permanent residents, but even refugees and non-immigrants. These lawsuits, they're going to consider the constitutionality of this executive order over the next few days and weeks.
Sharon, once a lawsuit is filed or an injunction is asked for, how long does it take for it to work its way through the courts? And even if a ruling is reached, let's say making an injunction, how long does it take for Customs and Border Protection to actually know that it's been, ruled in that way?
Well, it's immediate. As soon as the order is issued, preliminary injunctions have already issued, and they're immediate. They are taken immediately to the airport, and they are shown to Department of Homeland Security and to CBP, and they are immediately to take effect, that they are no longer to return people to the country of origin, that they are to release them if that's what the order requires, that they are to be allowed to see attorneys, which they were being denied access to their attorneys. So they're immediate, these orders, and they're in effect, some of them for 7 days, some of them until the courts have an opportunity to determine the constitutionality of the executive order. So once the order issues, it's immediate, it takes effect immediately, and Department of Homeland Security and CBP need to follow it right away.
A lot of outcry we saw over the weekend was because people believed the ban was immoral. Now that we're learning that attorneys have challenged it and it is in some parts illegal, how do you think the Trump administration is gearing up to make it legal? Essentially, what are you preparing for to fight against from the president's administration?
Well, I think there's two fronts right now. Congress is introducing bills to overturn the executive order. And so that is the first step, is an effort to overturn this executive order, and those bills should be introduced today. And then the second step is right now is the constitutionality of the executive order, which is being challenged in the courts very successfully at this point. And so turning those lawsuits into a class action and an injunction on this executive order until the constitutionality can be determined.
Sharon, were you surprised by this? Because it seems, as the president said, he campaigned on this issue. He knew it was coming. Were you taken back by him signing the executive order over the weekend?
I mean, certainly we all knew that this order could potentially be coming, and we had seen leaks of it ahead of time. So certainly we knew it was coming, though it's still a little bit shocking to me that such an order could have issued. I think there's other ways, of course, that our country can address, any threat of terrorism, any screening that we need to improve on in our system. But this is not the way to address it. We have good systems in place that should be allowed to work and be improved upon. But banning a particular religion and people from particular countries is unconstitutional and, in my opinion, immoral as well.
Okay, Sharon Dulberg, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.